Hi kids, so let's continue with the second chapter. So I said about different pratisthis of the kings. What are pratisthis? They are the inscriptions like inscriptions written about the kings of those days, whichever places they have won, all the victorious achievements of the king. That all was written as inscriptions. These were known as pratisthis. And there was one king named Nagabhatta. He was very, very strong. And he was from Pratihara kingdom. Okay. You remember the five kingdoms, na? Main dynasties which appeared from 7th century to 12th century in between. So one of them was Nagabhatta. He was very strong, but he exploited the people a lot. So you find in Pratisthis about how he ruled his kingdom, how he exploited, that all you will find. And it is also in the inscriptions described. Nagabhatta was so strong, so powerful that he defeated many states, like you can say many kingdoms, like the kings of Andhra, then Vidarbha, the king of Maharashtra, Kalinga, which was a part of Odisha. This all, he was just a prince when he had gained all these places and he had extended his kingdom. He had also won the He had also won victory over the ruler of Kanauj. You know, Kanauj was a very big and a very strong kingdom, but he had the power to defeat even Kanauj. Fine. Then he also had defeated the king of Vanga, which was in West Bengal. Then a part of Gujarat, Malwa. So he spreaded his kingdom very vast by defeating many powerful kings. This all we came to know because of the Prasisthis we found, which was in Sanskrit. Yeah, fine. And as I said, the kings used to offer Brahmins lands, correct? And the lands which they used to offer, that land had, there were different types of lands, like some which had boundaries were made of thorny bushes. Then there were different plants planted over there. There was cattle also, pastures. Pastures means the open space with full of grass where cattle can be easily reared. Then you find ponds, wells, fish ponds, tanks, all then lakes, deep lakes, rivers, canals. Okay, and these Brahmins can use this place, build anything, can do anything over there. And this land, if given to someone else, the person who is using it, they had to pay rent to the king or the owner of the land. That was mostly the kings. Okay, yeah. Now, kids, why do kings fight with other kings? Why they want to fight, kill people? The reason behind this was to extend their kingdom, to show they are more powerful, and to take away the wealth of other kingdom and become very wealthy. So mostly the kings used to attack those kings who were very rich, who had a lot of wealth. Okay, the kings who were very prosperous. So if we take an example. Now, from the very starting, the first kingdom was of Kanauj, correct? Magda, you might have heard about. Now, Kanauj was so rich, was so wealthy that there were three dynasties like Rashtrakutas, Palas, and the Pratiharas. All these three tried again and again to attack Kanauj, but Kanauj was much powerful. It could not be attacked by these people. So these three parties which went on attacking Kanauj again and again were also known as three-party struggle. What were they known as? Three-party struggle. Yeah. Then there was one sultan about whom it is written. That is Sultan Muhammad of Ghazni. He was from Afghanistan. You have heard about Muhammad Ghazni? Yeah, he was also a very strong ruler, and he ruled about, you can say, 30 years. He started his rule from 997 till he ruled till 130. Fine. And he captured or he win the places all over the Central Asia. Central Asia whole part he win, Iran and the northwest part of the subcontinents. So whole this big was his kingdom after winning many places. And he was very powerful. He could easily defeat the other kingdoms. And what he used to do, he used to attack the temples, because in olden days temples were very wealthy. Gold statues were made in temples, and all the kings, their main landmark was they used to build big temples. So he used to attack those temples to show his power. One of the temples which he attacked was the Somnath of Gujarat. Yeah. So this way Ghazni spreaded his kingdom by exploiting the people, by breaking down lots of temple, doing loots. Loots means taking away the wealth of other places and all that. And he was so smart, he used to find out of that area who are the intelligent scholar people, and he used to keep them in their kingdom. One of the scholars whom Muhammad Ghazni kept in his kingdom was Al Biruni. He was very good in writing accounts. Writing accounts means whatever the king have, how much money the king have, how much wealth, all that counting work was easily done by Al Biruni. Fine. And then there were people who were doing very good Arabic work. Arabic is a language, kids. Arabic language, a book called Kitab ul Hind. In that, the whole history about Ghazni you can find out. Okay? Yes. And he also, in his kingdom, kept scholars who knew Sanskrit. Then, other than Ghazni, the other people who started ruling, like took a chance to rule in Hindustan, they were the Chauhans. Chauhans were before known as Chahamanas. And the famous Chauhan was Prithviraj III Chauhan. He was the best one who ruled for a longer period. Like he ruled from 1168 to 1192. And he was so strong, he defeated one of the strong king of Afghan named Sultan Muhammad Ghauri. Sultan Muhammad Ghauri was one of the strongest king who cannot be defeated easily. But Prithviraj III Chauhan, he defeated him. Though after 1 year, Ghauri again attacked him and captured his kingdom. And the Chauhan's region, the kingdom they spreaded was whole of Delhi and Ajmer. Okay, yeah. And these people were opposed by the Chalukyas of Gujarat and the Gadwalas of western Uttar Pradesh. The Chalukyas of Gujarat and the Gadwalas of western Uttar Pradesh, they both fighted against the Chauhans because they did not wanted to give up their kingdom. Clear? So this was, can you see the screens over here? These are pictures of Muhammad Ghazni of Afghanistan. One in the coat and here the face. He was a very powerful king and he used to exploit people a lot. Now let's talk about the other people. The other people who ruled were the Cholas. Now the Cholas, so these are king of Cholas, okay? In the starting, a small family of Cholas came near the Kaveri Delta. The family was of Muttarayar. It was of Muttarayar. Then slowly, the family extended, and the Pallava kings of Kanchipuram also resided over there. Then Vijayala. Vijayala, he was one of the families of Cholas from Urayur. He captured the delta from the Mathuraya. Okay, in the middle of 9th century, he defeated the Mathuraya and he took away the place Urayur. Then he was a strong believer of goddess Nishumbhani, Nishumba Shudhini. So he made a big temple of goddess Nishumbha Shudhini. Where did he make the temple? He made a small town named Thanjavur. In that Thanjavur place, he made a goddess temple. Then slowly the successor of Vijayala, means the one who became the king after Vijayala, he extended his size by defeating and capturing other places. In this way, the Pandyan and the Palwa territories of south and north all were included in the kingdom of Cholas. Then there was a Chola king called Raja Raja I. He was considered one of the most powerful Chola ruler. He became king in 1985 and he expanded his kingdom to a very large area, and he was very well organizing and administrating his empire. He knew how to make the people of his kingdom happy. Then after him, his son Rajendra I continued to manage all the kingdom administration the same way his father used to do. And he extended his kingdom from Ganga Valley till Sri Lanka and some of the countries of Southeast Asia. So these way the Cholas spreaded their kingdoms. Fine. Yeah. And the Cholas used to believe a lot in God, so they made very beautiful temples. You see in the picture over here. This is one of the temples made by the Cholas. You find very beautiful sculptures and architectural work in such temples. So many temples were built when in the rule of Cholas. And the people coming from Afghan and all, they first used to attack all these temples. Okay kids, we continue tomorrow. Till then, see you. Bye-bye.